Hello, my dear young minds. How are you all? I hope you all are doing very, very well. In our today's class, we are going to start our chapter number 8. This chapter is presented in front of us in the form of poem, and the name of this poem is Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening. Actually, this is one of the famous poem of Robert Frost. Robert Frost was an American poet and writer. Okay, now come with me and let's see through this poem what Robert Frost wanted to tell. The poem by Robert Frost acts as a reminder of the importance of responsibilities and commitments in the face of tempting distractions or moments of beauty. Yes, see, this poem written by Robert Frost constantly give a reminder to us, okay, that we have to fulfill our commitments, okay, that we have to fulfill our responsibilities despite, despite a lot of beauty which prevails in front of us. It doesn't matter, okay, it doesn't matter. Those beauties are not going to stop us from our yes, from our commitments, from achieving our commitments. Okay, it emphasizes the need to balance personal desires and the allure of peaceful, enchanting moment with the duties and obligations that one has in his life. Yes, my dear students, every person who is presented on this planet Earth, they all have to fulfill some duties, they all have to fulfill some roles in their lives. Okay, so this poem gave a very beautiful reminder to us that it doesn't matter, okay, it doesn't matter that so much, that how much beauty is present in front of us, okay, how many things are presenting, how many things are present in front of us who are constantly distracting us, okay, but we never halt. Okay, but we don't have to never halt. Okay, we always have to fulfill our commitments, we always have to fulfill our responsibilities. Okay, so now come with me and let's explore the poem. Whose woods are these? I think I know. His house is in the village through. He will not see me stopping here to watch his woods fill up with snow. So, my dear student, in the first stanza, okay, in the first stanza, the narrator of the poem is saying that here you can see a stranger, okay, here you can see a traveler, okay, a traveler is traveling, okay, on sitting on the back of his horse, okay, and one evening time, okay, one evening time he visited in a village which is full of snow, because at that moment, okay, the village was facing the heavy snowfall moment. Okay, so my dear student, this narrator is thinking, I know, okay, I know these oats, okay, I know these oats which are just fallen, okay, who are I know the oats which is lying in front of me, I know, okay, I know this oats belong to whom, I know the name of that person. His house is in the village through, okay, and maybe the owner of this oats, okay, maybe the house of the owner of this oats is present in this village. He will not see me stopping here to watch his oats filled up with snow, okay, and he will not going to stop, okay, and he will not going to stop to see me that I'm constantly watching his oats which is now full of, or which is now covered of snow. Okay, so in this first stanza, the narrator of the poem, is saying that a stranger is traveling, or a stranger is traveling or sitting on the back of his horse, on the back of his horse, and while traveling, okay, they rest in a village, okay, and at that time a heavy snowfall was pouring in that village. Okay, so this stranger is thinking that maybe I know, or maybe I know the owner of this oat, okay, and the house of the owner of this oats maybe is presented in this village, okay, but that owner is not coming up to see me, that here I'm standing and watching that the heavy rain, heavy snowfall are pouring on his oats. Okay, so I hope the first stanza is clear to you all. Now let's move to the second stanza of the poem. My little horse must think it cure to stop without a farmhouse near. Okay, so now the narrator is saying that my little horse must be thinking that I'm stupid, okay, that I'm doing horrible thing, okay, because I'm standing in front of this village where heavy snowfall is falling. Okay, I'm not standing at the gate of any farmhouse. Between the woods and frozen lakes, the darkest evening of the year. Okay, and here we are stopping, okay, here we are stopping, okay, here we are stopping in front of the village which falls between the woods, between the woods on the one hand side, and the other hand side there's a frozen lake. Okay, here me and my horse is standing, because maybe my horse is thinking that I'm just, why I am doing this stupidity, why I'm standing in front of this village which is facing the heavy snowfall problem, why I am not standing in front of any farmhouse. Okay, so this village falls under the wooden heavy woods, okay, and frozen lake on the frozen lake on the other hand side, the darkest evening of the year. Okay, and this evening is the darkest evening of the year, because snowfall, when snowfall falls in winter time. Okay, and in winter time, uh, the duration of night is very long and the duration of day are shorter. That's why the narrator is considering this evening is the darkest evening of the year. Okay, I hope, my dear students, this stanza is also quite clear to you all. Now let's move to the third stanza. He gives his harness bell a shake to ask if there is some mistake. The only other sounds the sweep of easy wind and drowny flake. So my horse, okay, so my horse is giving a harsh shake to the bell, which is stuck, okay, okay, which is bounded in his neck. Okay, so he is giving a harsh shake to his bell. Maybe he is asking, is everything all right? Okay, are you not feeling any kind of sensations? That's why we are standing in front of this village which is facing the heavy snowfall problem. Okay, are you okay? Maybe he is asking that, is I'm okay, why I am standing here? Okay, the only other sound the sweep of easy wind and drowny flake. Okay, and in this heavy snowfall evening, okay, I can only hear two sounds. First sound made by the bell, which the first sound is made by the bell which is presented in the neck of my horse, and the second sound which me and my horse both can hear, that only the sweeping sound of the air. Okay, sweeping sound of this cold blowing air. Okay, third stanza is also quite clear to you all. Okay, now my dear student, this is the fourth and the last stanza of this poem. The woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promised to keep. The woods of this village, the woods which is present in near of this village, they are very deep in color. Okay, they are very dark and their appearance is looking very, very lovely. But I don't have any time. Okay, because I don't have any time to spend here. Okay, because I made a promise. I have to keep my promise, and miles to go before I sleep, and I have to travel a miles. Okay, and I have to travel a miles, and I have to cover a miles. Okay, before I drift to sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. Okay, so here, my dear friend, in this fourth paragraph, the narrator of the poem is saying that the woods are appearing very lovely. Okay, the woods are lovely. The woods are appearing very lovely. They are dark in color and they are very deep. Okay, but I don't have any time. Okay, but I don't have any time to see the beauty of those woods, because I have made a promise that I have made a promise that I need, and I made a promise, and I must need to fulfill those promise, and I have to cover a lot of miles before drifting back to sleep. Okay, so this poem is written by Robert Frost. My dear student, in this poem, Robert Frost is saying that it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter how beautiful thing is standing or presenting in front of you. It doesn't matter. Okay, the first thing which matter is if you make any commitment, if you made any promise, the first thing which you have to do is complete your task. After completing your task, you are free to do anything. Okay, so this is our human life. In our human life, my dear student, the first thing which we have to do to fulfill our responsibilities, to complete our commitments, to fulfill our promises. Okay, and always remain truthful towards yourself. Okay, so in this way we have completed this poem. Now come with me and let's see the word meanings which we have seen in this chapter or in this poem. Queer means a strange or unusual sound. Harness, a set of straps and fitting by which a horse is fastened to a cart, pillow, etc., and is controlled by the driver. Harness means a strap, okay, a strap which is stuck in the mouth of horse and controlled by the driver of the horse. Sweep, a wide and smooth curve or movement. Sweep means a movement. Downy is soft and fluffy, often referring to feather or hairs. Downy means a soft and fluffy thing, just like our hairs or just like the feather of the birds. Deep, having a great distance from the top or surface to the bottom. Deep means a very deep thing, means there is a very large difference between the upper part and the lower part. There's a very much difference. So this portion is called as deep. Solace, comfort or consolation in a time of distress or sadness. Solace means sometime you are feeling very sad and someone come to console you. Okay. Allure, the quality of being attractive, fascinating or enticing. Allure means you are very attractive personality. Enchanting, charming, captivating and magical. Enchanting means you have a very captivating personality. Obligations, duties or responsibilities that one is bound to fulfill. Obligations means you have duties, you have responsibilities to fulfill. That's why you are obliged. Perseverance, the act of persisting or continuing in a course of action despite difficulties or obstacle. Perseverance means you are continuing your work, okay, while crossing each and every obstacle in your path. Precipice, a steep rock face or cliff. Precipice means the cliff area, okay. Okay, my dear student, in this way we have completed this chapter number 8. Okay, now what you have to do, just revise this chapter, just go thoroughly through this chapter and complete all the exercise based on this chapter. Now I'm taking leave and going to meet with you all in our next class with a new chapter or maybe a new poem. Till then, my dear students, you have to take very good care of yourself. Bye.